Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Jennifer Miele, Chief Communications Officer and Managing Director of Evangelization of the Diocese of Greensburg.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele, Chief Communications Officer for the Diocese of Greensburg. As always, honored to be your host because I have two fabulous guests on the show from Game Changer Sports Ministry. The president and founder is Marty Martinosky, and the vice president is Taylor Solo. We're so happy to have you both on Westmoreland Community Connections today. Thank you both for taking the time to join us.
It is great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So I'm really excited to hear about Game Changer Sports Ministry. So Marty, why don't you take us from the beginning? What is it? How do you explain it to people? And what do you want people to know about it?
Well, this ministry was started 2 years ago in conjunction with myself, along with 6 other Christian athletes. We wanted to do things a little different than other sports ministries. And as we go on in our conversation, that will unveil itself. But primarily, we are not a non-denominational sports ministry, but an interdenominational sports ministry. Meaning that one of the campuses, Mount Aloysius College, where we have one of our teams, which we'll go into more details in a few minutes, they are a college based in the Catholic faith. It was actually their idea, Karen Lynch, on their campus, where I can't take credit for it. They wanted us on our campus, but they asked that we would take an interdenominational approach, meaning both Protestant and Catholic are welcome. With the Mount Aloysius College, there are students of the Catholic faith that meet for Bible study and students of the Protestant faith that meet for Bible study. And in the leadership of our organization, that created a win-win situation, most importantly for the kingdom.
That's fantastic. And I want to hear more, and we're going to continue to talk about this. But first, I want to hear about you, Marty, and where you grew up, where you went to school, a little bit about your career history, and then how you ended up bringing on these fabulous team members for Game Changers.
Absolutely. I have been, first of all, I grew up in the Bell Vernon area. I'm a 1981 grad of Bell Vernon Area High School. I also am a 1985 grad of Clarion University, where I played baseball and was captain of the men's bowling team there. I graduated in 85. For the past 30 years, I've been in a sales career, with the last probably decade being in biotech sales. That's my vocation and also a passion, but my true passion lies in sports ministry. I have been working with college and high school athletes for over 3 decades, and that passion I see no sign of diminishing in any way.
That's fantastic. And your vice president of Game Changer Sports Ministry and director of your volleyball program is Taylor Solo. So Taylor, tell us same questions. Where did you grow up, your education, your work history, and a little bit about your involvement?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Penn Township. I went to Penn Trafford. I played volleyball, and I actually did cheerleading throughout high school. I received an athletic scholarship, and I played volleyball at Cal U. At Cal, I studied in finance and accounting, and now I actually am a financial planner. I work for Prudential. My office is actually located right in downtown Irwin, so I'm still fairly local. I actually joined Game Changer Sports Ministry upon graduating. So back in 2018, I was introduced with my volleyball background. I wanted to help out with the camps and coach. So the last 2 years, I led our volleyball camp, and now I hold the vice president spot. So helping out with operations and day-to-day and tying everything in together.
Let's hear a little bit about the volleyball camps and the program. So give us an example for people who have never heard about this before. Where would they go? What would they see at a camp? Who would be there?
Yeah, the camps are fantastic. And I've done volleyball camps either as a participant, as a coach. I've done dozens throughout my life. And this camp is extremely unique because it ties in the volleyball side. It also ties in the faith side, and it ties in traditional camp activities. So on a day-to-day, you're getting volleyball instruction from, or even all of our camps, top instruction from past NCAA athletes or coaches. We always have some form of Bible study throughout the day, and they have access to all of the fantastic amenities. The volleyball camp is specifically held at Camp Allegheny, which is close to Somerset. So they have different features between a rock climbing wall, horseback riding, swimming, just the traditional fun camp ride. They have fires outside. So it ties in every fun aspect. And we always say you're able to grow in your faith, grow in your skill set, make some new friends. So it's a really great camp and atmosphere.
Well, that sounds absolutely amazing. So if folks are just joining us, you're listening to WHJB and Westmoreland Community Connections. And I'm really excited to have two guests on today from Game Changer Sports Ministry. The president and founder, Marty Martinosky, has been talking to us today about founding Game Changer Sports Ministry and really taking it to the next level. So you have these sports ministries involved in college campuses. But as Taylor was just telling us, you also have summer camps around the region. Do you want to talk us through some of that?
Absolutely. This is one of the things that I mentioned earlier, Jennifer, that makes our sports ministry truly unique. Taylor mentioned Camp Allegheny, where not only will our athletes get top-notch training from Christian coaches and athletes, they can also horseback ride, they can swim, they can enjoy campfires. The other sports that we offer at Camp Allegheny are lacrosse, men's and ladies lacrosse. They have a full-size athletic field and also a full-size indoor gymnasium where obviously volleyball takes place. The other sport that we conduct at Camp Allegheny every summer is softball. Our softball camp and our volleyball camp have both been the most popular thus far. And that's primarily due to the outstanding coaches like Taylor Solo. We're also partnered with Jumonville. Jumonville is in Hopwood. People remember it. Where's Jumonville? Where's Hopwood? It's the place with the giant 60-foot white cross on top of the mountain. And then they say, oh, I know where that is. We're proud to partner with Jumonville also with a cross-country camp. I can't think of a better place to run and really build your skill in that aspect. And we also have soccer. That's something we're particularly proud of. We have partnered with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They have an athletic facility in Connellsville that's only about 20 minutes from Jumonville. We're partnered with them to use their facility, but the athletes will still stay at Jumonville, where they'll enjoy comfy cabins, great food, the indoor climbing area, and everything else that Jumonville has to offer.
I mean, I am just thoroughly disappointed that this isn't for adults, because I'm seeing on your flyer here that these sports camps are for ages 12 to 17, but it sounds fabulous. So ages 12 to 17, and I suspect there's a reason for that, right? Because you're starting to look at some competitive athletes there, Taylor.
We found that age, because for the week, you're going to want to be within the same skill set, within the same age, especially when we're gearing Bible studies. Our volleyball camp was open to males and females, but specifically we did a lot of female studies on topics that young girls are going through. So targeting certain ages, obviously with their skill set, it's just a really good combination. They're staying over on the camp. So that's kind of the thought behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this sounds wonderful. And, you know, this is a lot of work for you guys to take on. I mean, Marty, I'm looking at some of the names of your coaches and their skill sets. I'm sure you have a lot to say about what a great job they do.
That is honestly one of the most amazing things about this ministry. The amazing thing is the incredible people like Taylor that God keeps putting directly in my path. it's obvious that he wants this to grow. He wants this to develop. And it has been an absolute blessing working with 13 outstanding board members and the coaches that I'm blessed to work with as well.
They seem amazing. I was looking at the first camp that's on your flyer, which is beautiful, by the way. You know, as a marketer myself, I love to see all of the fabulous marketing that you put out about Camp Allegheny. And I see a men's lacrosse that starts July 25th that runs for a week. And this is the CCLA Coach of the Year from the University of Pittsburgh, Sean Buzzard. So men's lacrosse camp, I'm sure, is, just really popular way to start off the season, Marty.
Well, thank you very much. That's one of the 4 camps that we have scheduled at Camp Allegheny. And Sean is an excellent example of the quality of coaching that we offer and the quality coaches that God keeps saying, Marty, you need to talk to this guy next or to this person next.
And that week at Camp Allegheny, the last week of July, there's 7:25 to 7:30. You'll have men's lacrosse, ladies softball, and co-ed volleyball. That sounds amazing. I see, Taylor, your name by that co-ed volleyball. And so you're a former Cal U PSAC champion and top setter. Pretty impressive. Too bad it's radio and people can't take a look at that. That's so impressive. So you'll have an
thank you.
for that, I'm sure. Now, these are great camps in August. I'm seeing the first week of August. There's 2 more camps. These ones at Jumonville and co-ed XC, co-ed soccer. If I'm a parent and I want to get my child involved in this, Marty, where do they go to learn more about the camps? Who do they call? How does that all work?
Well, our website is gcsminc.com. You'll find all the details there, including how to register for our camps. And my contact info is also on the website. I welcome any and all phone calls with any questions that a parent might have. As a matter of fact, if I may read you a quote from a parent about our lacrosse camp. This is from Amy, who's a lacrosse mom. It says, I was hesitant to send Carter to his first overnight camp experience, and I couldn't be happier with my decision. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me about all my questions and concerns about camp. Carter absolutely loved it. He came home so proud of himself for working hard, being independent, and learning more, most importantly, about his Savior. That's why we do what we do. Carter was, he's now 14, but he was 12 when he first came to our camp. And his mom did have a number of questions, and I spent some time with her on the phone answering all those questions. And now Carter keeps coming back every year.
That's fantastic. And when we look at your mission and how it merges with your values, I think that's really important. So obviously your coaches and the leaders of these camps not only are talented athletes, but they're true believers. Is that right? They lead the whole camp, not just part of it.
That is an absolute necessary first thing that we look for. We look to see that our coaches are in fact Christian, but not only Christian, that they coach from a Christian aspect, and that they also are able to openly share their faith as well. That's extremely important in a camper leaving Camp Allegheny or Jumonville transformed.
And Taylor, when you heard about this, I guess, how did you hear about Game Changer Sports Ministry and sort of insert yourself into this process?
So I actually heard of it through our social media page, which is also a great plug, that Marty does a fantastic job of posting positive and encouraging, basically quotes. And I came across it when I was in college and we connected that way. And I really wanted to get involved. I knew I wanted to continue to be involved in the athletic volleyball community. And I also knew that I wanted to be able to give back and share my faith and my experiences. So it was such a perfect matchup. And I absolutely love the camps. Like I said, you were joking earlier that adults can't go, and I feel lucky because I can. I didn't want to leave.
Jennifer, we're open for volunteers.
You're open for volunteers. Well, I'm a cheerleading coach by trade. I'm not sure you have any cheer camps, but
cheer camp, that's one of the camps we've been asked about. We've been asked about cheer, basketball, baseball, and I have now a dozen emails asking if we're going to do hockey. So those are in the process of developing.
You're listening to WHJB and Westmoreland Community Connections. We'll be right back.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome back to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. Thank you so much for joining us today for two very special guests. We begin today talking about a wonderful ministry, Game Changer Sports Ministry. I have on the line today Marty Martinosky. He's the president and founder, and Taylor Solos. She's the vice president and director of the volleyball program. We're so glad to have you both on here. So far, during this half hour, we've talked about the founding of this sports ministry, really getting involved with campus ministry, college athletes, making sure that their souls are fed as well as their appetite to compete in the sports that they love so much, and then extending the ministry to summer sports camps at both Camp Allegheny near Somerset and Jumonville in Fayette County. I have to say, I think Marty did a great job of explaining where Jumonville is when people forget when you're driving down 119 and you see the big white cross on the top of the hill in Fayette County. That's where it is. I was a Christian camper there as well when I was a little girl. And I remember hiking up that mountain many times. And it's a wonderful place, as is Camp Allegheny, to host just a meaningful training, a meaningful session with young people, which is so important. So I wanted to ask you guys how you've had to adapt because of COVID-19. So Marty, do you want to take that question and talk a little bit for parents so they know about your adaptations?
Absolutely. Our one aspect of our ministry, or another aspect of our ministry, is our team ministry program. These are on-campus faith-based sports clubs united in faith. We're at high schools and colleges, 9 high schools right now, and we're also at 5 colleges at this time. And we welcome the opportunity to work with any campus that would be interested, where there's a student-initiated, student-led, and student-run. With the team aspect with COVID, unfortunately, our teams have not been able to meet because we're all primarily living in a virtual environment now. So we're planning a relaunch for this fall, hoping COVID does cooperate a little so that we can relaunch all of our schools. And we also have 6 schools that are in kind of a holding pattern, waiting. The COVID impact on our camps, Jumonville last year made the decision to close down for the summer, as many camps did. Camp Allegheny did remain open, but the only camp that we had there was volleyball. Mm-hmm. And I'm very pleased to report we had 15 athletes at the camp. Because of the extraordinary measures that Dennis Tawney, who's president of Camp Allegheny, took to keep all students safe, there were hundreds of students at Camp Allegheny. Not one single case of COVID was reported.
That's true.
I serve on the board at Camp Allegheny as well, and that is something that, serving in leadership there, I am extremely proud to share that.
Now, as we move forward with this summer sports ministry and summer camps, we're hoping that COVID does cooperate. But right now, you do have plans to hold 4 different camps the week of July 25th, 2 other camps at Jumonville the week of August 1st. So it looks like things are starting on the right path. If you're just joining us and you're interested in learning more about these softball, lacrosse, volleyball, soccer, all kinds of camps going on this summer with Game Changer Sports Ministry, I wanted to talk a little bit about what you can find on the website, again, Marty, and how people can get a hold of you for more information.
Well, our website outlines on the homepage, it has pictures of the camps, pictures of our fabulous coaches. There's also our mission and vision, and the reason why we exist is what you'll find on our website under the mission and vision section. You'll also find all the details on our team ministry program that we offer college and high schools, plus all the information for our Game On camps is found there as well. There's also a new section that's going to be added with clinics. Half-day or one-day free clinics will be offered this summer. For instance, June 26th at Peters Township High School, they have agreed to host our ladies lacrosse clinic. We have two amazing athletes that are at Liberty University, Anna Keebler and Kenzie Lehman will be leading that. They'll be coaching at our lacrosse camp as well.
That's tremendous. Now let's review the mission. Tell us a little bit about the mission of Game Changers.
Well, our mission, as stated on our website, our mission is to bring encouragement to athletes through the gospel so that they may become loyal followers and teammates of Jesus Christ. We use a sports platform to teach our team values of teamwork, excellence, authority, and maturity. Rochelle Valori actually created our team values, who is now at Duquesne University in their Farm D school. But when she was running cross country at St. Vincent, I worked in conjunction with her to develop those values, asking that it just simply be an acronym for the word team, so it would be easy to remember.
I just love it. It's just tremendous. And it's such an opportunity for young people. Talk to me a little bit about the cost.
The cost of our camp at Camp Allegheny is $550 for the entire week, and that's all inclusive. Also, campers that come to a Game On camp, you'll receive a Game On t-shirt, a Game On backpack. You'll receive a sports devotional from Coach Leo Sells up at Grove City College, which is one of the schools that we're partnered with. They will also receive different literature about Game Changer itself and a Bible from Camp Allegheny as well. And it's the same thing for Jumonville, what campers will receive there as well.
I mean, that's a tremendous amount of stuff for the $500 cost. And I'm sure you're always willing to take donations, I would imagine, too, right? Anyone who wants to sponsor a camper.
Absolutely. We welcome sponsors, personal, we welcome corporate sponsors. One of the unique things about our ministry, Jennifer, is how we handle our donations. We are a complete 100% service ministry. And what that means is that nobody draws a salary. There are no benefits. 100% of donations benefit student athletes.
That's tremendous. You and Taylor are doing a fantastic job of, putting these camps together and doing all of this. I mean, Taylor, I'm sure you were really disappointed about COVID last year and not really being able to hold all these camps, but you squeezed in volleyball camp there. So you got your volleyball camp in. And how did you adapt last year to COVID, and how did that work with campers?
Yeah, so last year was definitely interesting, and we knew that we still wanted to even reach out to our students prior to the camp. So we had a lot of virtual volleyball clinics, just a day clinic where we just did instructions only. So campers would come, and that was actually our plan to continue that this year. So hold one-day clinics, whether that's virtually or in person, and those clinics are completely free. If they attend those clinics, they actually get a discount if they sign up for camp as well, too. So just trying to reach out to people. We try to get as creative as possible to still give students instruction. And during volleyball camp, we were lucky enough to continue to host that and following the guidelines. So it ended up working out fantastic, and we're really excited about this year as well.
Well, now at least you have some experience with it too. You're not going into something that you haven't done before with the COVID restrictions, for sure. So, Marty, how do you come up with the, sort of the evangelization piece at each of these camps? Is that discussed ahead of time? Is there sort of a pattern that is followed, and how do you look at that and coach the coaches?
I'm sorry. You mean as far as the cost structure of the camp and how that's developed?
No, I'm talking about specifically when you're going to sit down and have discussions about faith with these kids. Do you coach the coaches ahead of time? Do you have topics that you want to cover, and how does that work?
Oh, that's one of the gifts that our coaches have. It's absolutely a necessary prerequisite for them to be able to openly share their faith. And really, the best way to build your faith and the best way to further develop your faith is to share it with others. And our coaches are absolutely blessed in that situation. And the camps themselves also offer a different structure, different themes for the camp, and go over if each camp has its own chaplain that stays with the camp or with the team, the athletes, and that does the Bible study and that makes sure that they get from point A to point B where they're supposed to be, and different things like that.
That sounds amazing. I was looking at the cross country camp that's happening at Jumonville, and for those of you who have never been to Camp Jumonville, it is most certainly a mountain, and I can't wait to hear how well these kids are being trained. It's a great idea that you want to go up and pray by the cross, but you got to get there first, right? That's going to take some awesome talent to do that. But what a challenge, and what a great way to bring kids together, talk about their faith and their commitment to their sports. So what's the reaction? I mean, tell me, you read to me one letter from a parent. Do you have any other stories or reactions that you want to share post camp that you've received from families?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, if I may share a couple others, if you don't mind. This is from Kelly, who's a softball mom. Her daughter, Alex, attended our softball camp 2 years ago now. Unfortunately, last year the camp didn't take place. The primary reason for that was the NCAA had a lockdown on coaches and all athletes that they could not do camps, they could not. So with that one decision from the NCAA, our camps disappeared. But anyhow, this summer we're expecting much better. This is, as I mentioned, this is Kelly. She writes, the camp at Camp Allegheny was fantastic. Alex felt completely recharged in her faith and felt her softball skills were very well honed. Iron sharpens iron. Thanks so much for all involved and all you do. This is from a volleyball mom, Heather. We just brought Emily home from volleyball camp, and she can't stop talking about what a great week she had. This is really important. She also writes, my little girl came home transformed. She was practically breathless trying to tell us all about it. Thanks for all you do. Keep doing it. Heather, a volleyball mom. Emily will be at her third volleyball camp this summer and also has invited 2 other friends to join her. And to sum it up, this is a quote from Miss Maggie Means, who's a libero at Connellsville High School, where we have one of our teams. Maggie is now playing at St. Francis University. But this is a text that she sent me. It said, I have something to share with you. I have always believed in Jesus Christ, but never truly knew what it meant and how it felt to play for him. I promised him, as well as myself, that every time I step on the court, my only goal was to bring glory to his name. I've already seen so much change in my game, and I definitely owe that to you. Thank you so much. I love what you're doing for our school. And as I mentioned, that's Maggie Means, who's probably the best libero I have ever seen on the volleyball court.
I'll tell you, that has to make it all worthwhile. I got choked up when you were reading some of those. God bless you both for all of the wonderful work you do. You are listening to information about Game Changers Sports Ministry. I want to thank our guest today, Marty Martinosky, who is the president and founder of Game Changers Sports Ministry, and the vice president and director of the volleyball program, Taylor Solo. Thank you both for joining us today.
It has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for allowing us to share something that we're both very passionate about.
Tune in next Sunday, to Westmoreland Community Connections here on WHJB.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.